Welcome to Cooking with Gerry. I have some bean stew that I made this morning. I have transferred some of it into this small frying pan because I want to try a new recipe. I am going to put this over here for now. So the bean stew is boiling, and here I am going to add these two farm fresh eggs, and I'm going to crack them open one at a time in this plate just to make sure that they are good eggs before I put them in the frying pan. The shell is really hard. It's a difference between the farm fresh egg and the factory egg is the chickens are healthier, so their eggs are healthier, which means also that the shell is usually thicker in the farm fresh egg. So here's the second one. Good. Another big difference between the factory egg and the farm fresh egg is the color of the yolk. It's a dark orange instead of the pale yellow. To clean the raw egg, it's suggested to use vinegar, and Uncle taught me that to get rid of the smell, which I'll do after. Just washing my fingers. I got some egg yolk. So in the liquid of the bean stew, it's more of a bean soup because there is quite a bit of liquid. The eggs are going to poach, and I'm going to leave that for a couple of minutes. Let me cover it again, and it'll cook just like that. What I did this morning, the experiment, I've told a few times about this great book by Dr. Mark Harmon called Food, What the Heck Should I Eat? In the bean section, he explains that lentils and garbanzo beans, also called chickpeas, those are the two best ones as far as beans go, what it provides to your body and what your body can use from those nutrients. So I wanted to try them together. The difference is that the garbanzo beans take longer to cook, and I wanted to cook everything together. So the first idea was to soak them separately and then to use a cutting board and a knife to cut the garbanzo beans into smaller pieces so that it would cook quicker together with the lentils. But the way timing worked out, I had the opportunity. I put the garbanzo beans in my saucepan and put some water to boil, just a little bit, and I let it boil for about 5 minutes. Then I turned the heat off and I let that cool for about an hour. Then I put the garbanzo beans back into a container, covered it with a little bit more water, and that was a few hours ago. Then I cooked everything together, the garbanzo beans, the lentils, also split peas, and this dried red corn kernels that I found at the store in the city last week. So those all cooked together. I'm going to turn the heat off. If the farm fresh eggs are fresh and you trust where they came from, it's okay to eat these eggs partially raw. At least for me, my body can digest it really well, and you maintain the nutrients better than fully cooking the egg, especially the egg yolk. Another thing I learned with Dr. Mark's book. So everything was cooked together earlier, and it became liquidy because I haven't added anything to it. With the liquid, I have some homemade bread from yesterday that I cooked over the grill, so that will help to soak up the liquid. And I put a little bit of salt. I'm also going to put a little bit of butter because I prefer my eggs with butter. It's a salted butter. and I want to show you. So I'm going to remove this, put this over here, and give you the view from above. So there it is. You can see the eggs are partially cooked, poach style, and the egg yolk is still runny. And here is, I can show you, this is just the remaining soup that I can use for something else, and the idea came to put it in a blender. Oops, I hit the stool. To put it in a blender and make like a chip dip, or for your pita or a sandwich. And if you want to make it a bit more exciting, you can put cheese, or if you like bacon, you can put some cooked bacon in that chip dip. That was another idea from this morning. So that's the bean stew. That's my meal with 2 pieces of my homemade bread. And if I come up with another idea for the leftover bean stew, which is kind of a soup, I'll come back and do another segment. Thank you for watching. Time for the next combination to go with the bean soup. That first meal that I had with the eggs kept my stomach happy for about 5 hours. Now the stomach wants food again, and I almost made one of my favorite pasta dishes, which is using any kind of pasta. Here I'm using usually the angel hair pasta, because it cooks really quickly. So what I would have done, heated the bean soup, and then when the liquid was boiling, I would have added angel hair pasta that I break up into small pieces, and within about 2 or 3 minutes that pasta would have been cooked. But you can do similar with any kind of pasta. Just the other pastas are going to take longer, at least 10 minutes. But I decided not to. Pasta, with my information, I don't consider it food anymore. It's a product that's made in a factory. There are no plants that grow pasta. So in the factory there are various processed ingredients that are put together, mixed, and then you get pasta. I know a lot of cultures. Half of my family is Italian, and almost every day or even twice a day a pasta dish will be served as the first course of lunch and dinner. But I have new information, and even though I love the pasta, it's rare. Maybe once a month I will have pasta. So I went with the vegetables. I'm not showing you the process because we've done very similar before. I took 2 pieces of celery, washed, and I chopped it up into small pieces, as well as half of a green cabbage that I chopped into pieces after I had washed it. And I let them cook together with the bean soup for about 10 minutes. A bit longer than I normally cook those vegetables, but because there was the quantity also of the bean soup that had to heat up during those 10 minutes, that's why I let it cook for the 10 minutes. And I also wanted to show you during this last segment, if you've never seen red corn, here it is. It's dried. This time I soaked overnight before adding it to the bean, the saucepan that had everything else in it. But I did make it last week without pre-soaking it in I don't remember what it was, one of the seeds, amaranth or quinoa or kaniwa, and many times I will combine them also with the whole grain wheat and sometimes whole grain rice, but even that's rare. I had put the corn in together when the other ingredients started, which means it cooked for only about 25 minutes, and it was fine. It was a very satisfying chew. I could tell that it was a very compact vegetable. But this way, when you soak it overnight, it's probably easier for the body to digest and easier for your body to use the nutrients that are available in that red corn. There was also a black and white corn at the store. Same company produces it, but I don't want 2 bags of corn. So I got the red one this time, and then when I finish that bag, which might take 3 or 4 weeks, I'll go back to the city and I'll consider trying the black and white corn. So anyway, that's the concluding segment for this bean soup, and I'm going to enjoy my meal. I have one last piece of yesterday's homemade bread that I cooked using the grill, so that'll go along with my meal, and it'll help absorb the soup, the liquid of the soup. As if I've mentioned before, too much liquid when you're having solid, it will dilute the digestive enzymes. It's better to have either liquid or solid, but not both. And one way to help you not have to drink so much is to chew your food more, because that way the saliva and whatever else is in your mouth that's necessary for digestion will mix a lot better with the food, and you won't find that you need so much to drink during your meal. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.